President, I rise today in support of Senator Kane's War Powers resolution to halt Donald Trump's unjustified, illegal, regime change war against Iran. We have a lawless president who is shredding our Constitution and attacking our democracy right here at home. And that same lawlessness and recklessness has pervaded our foreign and national security policy, now putting American troops in harm's way in Donald Trump's war of choice. Let's not forget, colleagues, what Donald Trump and J.D. Vance promised the American people. Think back to all the times that they looked the American people in the eye and said they would not drag America into another war, especially another war in the Middle East. They said it over and over. They called themselves the pro-peace ticket. Vice President Vance wrote a Wall Street Journal op-ed in 2023 making the case for Trump's 2024 presidential candidacy. The headline of his op-ed, and I quote, "Trump's best foreign policy, ? Not starting any wars." That's what J.D. Vance promised would come from a Trump-Vance White House. The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, sold, quote, "no war with Iran" shirts in 2020. 4 years later, she declared, and I quote, "a vote for Donald Trump is a vote to end wars, not start them," end quote. That's our current Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Donald Trump even calls himself now the peacemaker. And on election night in 2024, he said, and I quote, "I'm not going to start wars, I'm going to stop wars." That was Donald Trump at the end of his campaign, repeating what he had said throughout his presidential campaign. Well, they broke their promises. They lied directly to the American people. President Trump has already ordered more military strikes against more countries than any president in the modern era, including against countries that have never been targeted by the U.S. military. And now Trump has launched an all-out, illegal, regime change war of choice against Iran. And let's be clear, this is not a war to make us safer. What the president has done is to make the world less safe for Americans. And he's chosen to put American servicemen and women at risk for a war that he said he would never start, that he promised he would never start. As of today, we have lost 6 brave American service members to this war. I pray for them and their families. They should still be with us today. In response to their deaths, President Trump said just yesterday that, quote, "sadly, there will likely be more. That's the way it is." That's how Donald Trump responds to American troops killed in this war of choice that he started. He said, "that's just the way it is." Really, colleagues? We should not send our sons and daughters to fight and die. We should not spend billions of dollars of taxpayer money for a war that is not in our interests and has no end in sight. No one in the Trump administration, including the president, has made a credible argument for why it's in America's interests to start a war against Iran. They haven't, because it isn't. Donald Trump and his administration have spent the last 48 hours telling different reporters and news agencies a whole host of different objectives and a whole set of different timelines. One claim that has been thoroughly debunked was that Iran was going to strike America first. That is a lie. It's a proven lie. So now, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is spinning another version of this. He said we had to strike Iran first because Israel launched an attack on Iran. And here's his twisted logic. Israel was going to strike Iran, and of course, we knew nothing about that. But we knew that if Israel struck Iran, that Iran would strike us, so we had to strike Iran first. Mr. President, the deception is deep and it's sickening. This administration lied to the American people during the campaign, before they were in office, and they're lying now. Another objective that has been cited was to end Iran's nuclear weapons capability. But we know that Iran does not have a nuclear weapons capability. That's also a lie. And of course, we know that President Trump told the country that American and Israeli strikes last year had completely obliterated the Iranian nuclear weapons program. Remember that? And of course, this is the president who in his first term ripped up the agreement between the United States and Iran to prevent Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons. We also know from the Omani intermediaries, including the foreign minister of Oman, that Iran was willing to put much tighter restraints on any future possible nuclear